Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video, we're going to be going over the loaded Week 4 slate of matchups college football has this week. We're going to be going over these based on the analytical power ratings as well as the point spread and how important they are to the CFP chase. We're going to start with number 10 here and start with America's team that's taken over college football by storm, the Colorado Buffaloes at Oregon Ducks. Surprisingly, this spread is 21 points, and it was 21 a week ago when the first came out, and it really hasn't moved at all. And I think people are going to be in for a rude awakening. All the Colorado fans that have jumped on the bandwagon. I do believe that how good they've been this season, how popular they've been, how important they've been to the rise of the rebirth of Colorado football. I do believe that people are going to get a real reality check with this game because Oregon is that much better than Colorado, I do believe. Vegas would not believe that if the spread wasn't so big. As you can see, their offense, similar. Colorado's 23rd, Oregon's 3rd. The defense, Colorado is one of the worst in FBS right now. 125th. I think it's close to 450 yards a game. Oregon's at 31st, but the power rating there at the bottom. Oregon is 11th, and Colorado's way down at 53rd. So, in terms of most everybody's analytical rating, Colorado is just not even close to what Oregon is. But they are 3-0. They've been doing really well. They escaped a game against Colorado State, but I don't know. I think even though I don't think Oregon might cover this spread, I think Colorado is going to get a reality check, and I do believe the Ducks will end the Buffs' undefeated streak to start the season. Number 9, Mississippi State at South Carolina. 6.5 point spread. These two teams have been kind of very mid this season. South Carolina had that terrible Week 1 against UNC, and the Mississippi State just got destroyed by LSU last week. But this is a pretty decent matchup between two mid-tier SEC teams. South Carolina showed out against Georgia in that first half before being shut out in the second half. These teams are very, very lackluster in defense so far. Mississippi State's been very bad in offense. They're close to 100th ranking. South Carolina's been a little better. They're at 54th. Both kind of even in the power ratings, 46 versus 38. But I think South Carolina is just a better team overall, and I think they cover the 6.5 point spread. Number 8, Texas A&M hosts Auburn. Now, Texas A&M lost to Miami, I think it was last week or the week before. Auburn's up to a 3-0 start, but I don't believe in Auburn just yet. They're projected to be one of the worst in the SEC, if not the worst in the SEC West. Then again, Texas A&M really hasn't showed me much as well, even though their offense is decently better than it has been in previous years. Auburn's defense is doing really well, as you see, 15th. Texas A&M is rated about 8 spots lower in the power ratings overall, and the spread is 7.5. If I had to pick one, I don't know. I think I would take Auburn in this one, but I think money line Texas A&M, Auburn in the spread. Number 7, Oregon State, Washington State. Very interesting early season matchup in the Pac-12. They have about 6 teams ranked right now. I do believe the Pac-12 does, and it's open, and it's anybody's game right now. Washington State came off the big win against Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, and Oregon State, I think for the second year in a row, I don't know if they started it last year, maybe not, is 3-0. They're only, but on the road at Washington State in Parham, or I don't even know what's that, Pullman, Washington. They're only a 2.5 point favorite, less than a field goal. As you can see, the offense, 30th versus 8th. They're both pretty good. Defense, Oregon State's one of the, just like Utah, they're like the anti-Pac-12, where it's really good on offense and terrible on defense. Oregon State's kind of pretty good on both sides of the ball. Defense are even better than their offense, as you see. In the power rankings, they're 15th. Washington State's 29th. So, if I had to choose one, though, I think Oregon State's going to cover in this one. I think they're going to win. I really don't know why this game is this close. I'm sure I'll be surprised and eat my words as I always do with these spread picks. But I think Oregon State's a really good team this year. I think Washington State's kind of feasting an early season success against a subpar Wisconsin team. So I think Oregon State's going to cover and they're going to win outright. Number 6, UCF against Kansas State. Kansas State lost to Missouri last week on a record I think it was 61-yard field goal, SEC record, I do believe, by 3. UCF is undefeated to start the season. They have the number 1 total offense through 3 games this year. 617.7 yards, so just under 618 yards a game. That is remarkable, no matter who you're playing. In their debut season in the Big 12. Total defense is 28th, which is not bad either. Kansas State's at 50th. Excuse me. Both are kind of even in the power ratings, though. 25th for UCF and 19th for Kansas State. Kansas State's a 5-point favorite. If I had to choose one, though, I think Kansas State's going to bounce back, and I think they're going to cover the spread at home in Manhattan and hand UCF their first loss in the Big 12 in their inaugural season. Number 5, a very interesting Big 10 matchup as well, pitting one of the best teams in the country, Penn State, versus probably the Big 10 West favorite, Iowa, who so far, even though they're ranked, they started off 3-0, has been very lackluster on offense, at least in yardage, but their points, they're getting up there. They're trending towards getting to Kirk Ferentz's son. I forget his son's name. The offensive coordinator, they have to average at least 25 points a game, or else he's not going to have a job. So they're trending well above that. So at least for right now, Iowa is just holding the ground. Their defense is 32nd, a little below what they used to be, but they haven't really been playing complimentary football either. So on the other side, Penn State is just this is a true test for them. Are they going to be out? Is this game going to be over by halftime, or is Juilliard going to actually have to stay in there through the third quarter, if not through the entire fourth quarter, making a game? They're a 14-point favorite right now. Penn State, as you see, 26th in offense, 17th in defense. They're third overall in all composite power ratings. Iowa's 23rd. I think Iowa's going to cover, but obviously Penn State's going to win the game outright. So that's my picks for both of those guys. Number 4, a game that's everybody would be surprised why the spread's so close, but the power ratings show that Clemson 21st, Florida State 7th. This game's going to be number 4 in the AP poll versus unranked in the AP poll. It's going to be a lot closer than everybody would think. Clemson's 20th on offense, surprisingly, 8th on defense. Florida State 7th in offense and 104th in defense. They had that terrible game against Boston College. God, they almost choked away everything they had going for them to start the season against a very, very bad Boston College team. But they pulled it off, won by 2 in the end. And that's why I think this spread is so close, because Florida State, I think, is one of the more overrated teams going into this season. However, they did destroy LSU in that first game of the season. LSU might be overrated, and it could just be those week 1 blues, just like last year when Florida State beat them by 1 point. But either way, 2.5 points, very close. I don't know who to pick in this one. My gut wants to tell me that Clemson's gonna win this one outright, but I really think Florida State is a better team than Clemson this year. They finally will get back to the winning ways and beat Clemson and regain the path to the ACC. If Clemson loses this one, then I don't think there's any chance they get back to the ACC title game, because there's at least 2 other teams besides Florida State that could definitely dethrone them. So I'm going to take Florida State in this one. I'm going to use my brain, and they're going to cover the 2.5 point spread and hand Clemson their second loss of the season. Number 3, another Pac-12 early season ranked-on-ranked matchup. Very, very interesting matchup with this. Utah, 4.5 point favorite at home against UCLA Bruins. UCLA has really come out of, I don't want to say come out of nowhere. They had a really good season last year, but nobody was thinking they were going to be that good of a team. But here they are, week 4. They're 22nd ranked, top 10 offense, 25th in defense, and they're 18th in the power ratings. Utah, they have their win over Florida week 1, and they are also 3-0. Pretty lackluster on offense, but defense, like I said, just like Oregon State in the Pac-12, they're one of those outliers that are really good on defense, and their offense is just complementary football. So this one's going to be a slugfest, I think. I don't think wherever the over/under is, I think I would take the under, just because of the way Utah plays. But if I had to take a spread in this one, I think I would take Utah. I just think they're a better team, and whether what's his name, their quarterback, Rising plays or not, I think they're going to win this game as well. Number 2, I think a very important SEC game, whether it's for the SEC West, whether it's for the SEC, whether it's for the dynasty that is Alabama football, as well as the CFP playoffs, as you see the logo right there in the front, in the middle. Alabama's 6.5 point favorite at home against Ole Miss. Alabama I don't know what has happened with them. They played decent against Texas. Obviously, Milroe, the quarterback, he threw 2 costly interceptions, and their defense just could not stop Texas in the second half. But last week against South Florida, oh my God, I don't know what that was. That was an Alabama of old. And through 3 weeks of the season, Alabama, I mean, this is just remarkable to me. 83rd in offense and 47th in defense. Now, you would think a tie that played Middle Tennessee and USF on their schedule, you would think they would be top 10, just racking up gaudy numbers on both those teams. But they haven't. They don't have a quarterback. Miller was going to be thrust back in the starting role because, whatever it was. Saban said that he promised other people they'd play. I call BS on that. I think they have no idea what they're going to do. But on the other side, Ole Miss definitely has their quarterback. They definitely have a running back. They definitely have an offense. So, I don't know. Everything a part of me wants Alabama to lose this game, but my mind and my history, proves us right again. I think Alabama's going to show up in this big game. Nick Saban's going to show up and demolish Ole Miss. I don't think demolish, but I think they'll cover 6.5. They were 6.5 point Texas, and I picked them, and they did not cover at home. I think they're going to cover against Ole Miss, though. But part of me just wants Ole Miss to beat Alabama, and that'd be great to see a newcomer in the SEC West. We'll just have to see, though. I'm going to pick Alabama, though, straight up, and the spread. And the number one game of the week, I mean, this loaded Week 4 slate has serious CFP implications. And Ohio State, 3.5 point favorite on the road against number 9 Notre Dame. Now, Ohio State has been, the first 2 weeks they were iffy. They had that weird game against Indiana, and then they had that whatever game against Youngstown State. But last week, putting up 66 points against Western Kentucky, a pretty decent Western Kentucky team pretty decent offense as well. Held them to only 10 points. This is going to be a slugfest. This will definitely be the most prestigious and I'd say important game of the season so far for college football, especially for the CFP chase. Ohio State 24th in offense, 3rd in defense, 2nd overall in the power ratings. Notre Dame 16th in offense, 4th in defense, and 9th in the power ratings. Now, quarterback matchup in this one, Sam Hartman obviously beats them. Running backs, Ohio State, obviously the wide receivers, Ohio State beats them. Just give them a chance. They really haven't produced as close to what we thought they would, but give them a chance, and I think they will produce. I really don't know which way this game's going to go. Ohio State could win by 17. Notre Dame could win by 10 or 14. I have no idea. I'm going to stay away from this pick. I just this is just going to be a great game, and I can't wait to see, who's going to come out on top, because whoever wins this game will be in have some serious front runner position to be in the CFP conversation, if not be one of the top 2 or 4 teams in the entire country right now. So that's but if I had to pick one, I think just throwing out the wall, I think Notre Dame would cover. I think Ohio State would win outright in the money line, though. That's the top 10 games of Week 4, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think there'll be any major upsets? Do you think Clemson's going to upset Florida State? Or you think Florida State's going to have their season? Who do you think wins the big game against Ohio State and Notre Dame? Let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter as well. So I'm the SportsStern92. And we'll see you. Just check out my shorts throughout the whole weekend. I'll be updating you guys. This is my instant reactions to everything. And see you next week for a Week 5 slate of the games.